Alright, 1940 Farmall M, well, late 1940. Went through and restored it back. I got it this last August, and it is March right now, middle of March. Completely gone through it, and as you can see, yes, it has a Cummins in it. Lucas cab, so no turbo. It's all mechanical, even the shut off. No, I did not buy that damn expensive adapter plate or flywheel. It's not hard to do. I just figured I'd better video this because I actually got somebody coming to pick it up tomorrow because they bought it from me. Damn good looking tractor. Got just about everything put back on it from where it was factory, even the PTO shield. Everything works on it. It's a little dark, I don't know if it's going to show up too well. Kind of funny. The 4BT Cummins, the 4BT is shorter than the standard gas engine. It's not bad to do. I reused the original engine plate for the adapter, because you're going to have to make a small adapter to go between the flywheel and the crankshaft. It was I believe a ½ inch thick, just a hair under half. But there's plenty of meat in the flywheel to resize for the bolt holes for the Cummins for the crankshaft. Any machine shop can do that. Same way with the flywheel adapter. That's just a round plate that has got holes in it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, sweet looking little tractor. Does 30 mile an hour, but if you're ever gonna do this, remember the lift all pump does not like to run at 30 mile an hour. I did it twice and I found out that it was starting to leak oil after I came back. Well, come to find out, the vent hole in the top of the fill cap was plugged, so it built pressure and it was puking oil out. So I don't know if I really recommend him going that fast with the lift all still in there, but it'd probably be fine now since the vent cap's open. Still the original radiator. Everything fits in there real nice. The mechanical linkage, probably should pull the hood off, but it runs down from the steering column down to an arm, which I have on a pivot rod, which this rod is connected to, which comes down to the injection pump. This rod right here for the shutoff is just the old choke rod that I've welded right here and put an extension on. Not too big of a deal. It's all pretty well straightforward. It's pretty simple stuff once you actually kind of think about it. This engine was a 4BT, but the place we got it from, they replaced this motor because this motor had a scored cylinder, which isn't that big of a deal, but they went ahead and replaced it, and they were going to throw it in the scrap pile. So they ordered a 4B because it was cheaper than a 4BT. They robbed all the 4BT stuff off of this engine and threw it on the B engine, so I had leftover B stuff. That's why it's like it is. Which ain't bad, because if I had the turbo in there, I would have to remount or redo the exhaust, and it would not come out the factory hole like it is now. I like the look of it as it is right now. It still has 3 times the horsepower that it came with factory. You just don't hear the turbo, because there's no turbo on it. Which in my mind, that's not that big of a deal. It's got 3 times the horsepower. It's more than enough for this tractor. Like I said, this one does 30. I've had it up to 30. It might do just a hair more, but it seemed like 30 was top end on it. But figured I'd do a little bit of a walk around with this one. I did have to change out the oil, the factory oil in the rear end, because I went to do PTO seals and bearings in it this last winter, and there was just so much ice inside the oil that I just had to drain it. I couldn't get the oil out, or the water out of the oil, even though that's supposed to be really, the factory's supposed to be really good oil in it. But I went and done, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is like vintage cloth wiring loom. I used that from the alternator all the way back to the gauge pocket pod here, and for the lights, and I ran it down around for the lights, and I think that looks a lot better than just bare wires hanging out. Another thing I did is I took a piece of conduit and ran from this bracket back to the back bracket and ran my wiring through it, just so the wiring's not hanging and getting in this stuff, rubbing. But yeah, brand new brakes, brand new clutch, input shaft seals and bearings, brake seals, PTO, front bolster's been completely rebuilt. I think I've gotten 80% of my new parts from Steiner, and then the rest of them kind of eBay, like toolboxes from eBay and stuff like that. Got a lot of used parts, quite a bit from Indiana, and quite a bit of the, I had to find somebody had an H hub on the front instead of a factory M. The H hub was cracked through here, so I had to find a factory hub, because the M's are a lot thicker than an H. So why they would have did that, I don't know. And I made that D-ring, make it a little bit nicer to tie down to a trailer or whatnot. Yeah, not a bad looking old girl. I think overall the engine took me, I think 2 months off and on, because I work a full-time job, and then I do mechanics around here for different people, and then cleaning up and new seals and bearings and paint, waiting on parts, and been fun. Alright. Thanks, guys.